Okay, we're going to have a look at this topic here, which is actually really the first key area in the first unit, and it's making new cells. So, first of all, we're going to have a look at cell division. So, why is cell division important? Well, looking at the picture that we've got here, here's a cell that's been formed when this is sperm here. It's fertilizing this egg. And when that is fertilized, that fertilized egg is going to have to start to divide into lots and lots of different cells to form an embryo. And then the embryo is going to continue to grow to form, well, I've got here an animal, but if this was a human, then hopefully a human baby. So cells have got to be able to divide, and we're going to have a wee look at that process. Another reason why cells need to divide is we need to make new cells to allow living organisms to grow. We need new cells to replace any cells that have died, or to repair tissues that have got damaged, or to heal wounds. So all cells that are produced have to be made from existing cells, and that comes from the process of cell division. I mentioned before that everything grows during its lifetime. You don't all stay tiny, tiny little babies. And in order to be able to grow, new cells have to be formed by cell division. So let's have a look here. I mentioned already as well that when we get injured, we need to make new cells to repair and replace any damaged tissues. The new skin cells heal, and they over a cut or a graze, or say you've broken a bone, then you need to make new cells to repair that broken bone. So these are all reasons why cell division, or why cells make copies of themselves. It's needed for repair of damaged tissues, damaged bones, it's needed for growth, and you should have in your notes the importance of cell division, giving these examples. Now, you also need to know that cell division has got this really important name, and it's called mitosis. And mitosis, because it's cell division, is required for growth and repair. It's needed, as I said before, for us to be able to grow or to repair any damage that has been done. So this is a special name that is given. So let's look at a bit more detail about what's happening when cell division happens. Well, you need to know that inside the nucleus of every cell, now remember before when we looked at cell structure, we had a nucleus, and it said that that controlled the cell. And it controls the cell because it contains certain things that are called chromosomes. Now, these chromosomes that are inside there, they carry all the genetic information. So this diagram that is here, is looking at a chromosome that is found inside a cell. Now, the chromosomes have got on them sections along them, which are called genes, and you've probably heard of them. And that has got the information about what makes you, or whatever organism it is that has got these chromosomes inside it. So that information is there in the form of these chromosomes. Now, humans have got 46 chromosomes inside their nucleus. There's actually 23 pairs because they come in pairs. Now, when it comes to cell division, the important thing about that is that when we have a look at inside the nucleus with cell division, when a cell divides, or it makes new cells by cell division, it has to make sure that it copies all the information that's inside the nucleus. So what goes on is the parent cell has to split to form two new cells, but it has to have made copies of each of these chromosomes that are here in order to make sure that the two new cells that are formed have exactly the same number of chromosomes that were in the original parent. So I've just circled these ones here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chromosomes. And when you look at what is known as the daughter cells, you'll see that they have got as well 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the same with this one here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we say is that these daughter cells are identical to the original parent cells, and that is very, very important. So this diagram here is really showing the same thing that I had in the last diagram. It's just giving a little bit more detail. So what we're seeing here, here's a parent cell here, and in the nucleus that's in here, it's quite hard to make out, but there's two chromosomes, this black one and this red one. And what actually happens is the black one and the red one that are inside here, I don't know if I can change them about, but if you have a wee look, what happens is the black one that was up here will make a copy of itself. So it looks like that. And the red one, that does the same. And then what happens is these will split up, these copies, and one of these copies here, like that black one, will go into there, and this black one will go into here, and the red one, this one will go in here, and this one will go in here. And what happens is that the cell will split itself, so we kind of split like this and split like this, so that we end up with two identical daughter cells, which each has two chromosomes, the same as the original parent cell. Now that's very important because you want to make sure that all the genetic information that was in the original parent cell is passed on to these daughter cells so that it's made an exact copy of itself. So the information I've got up on here, the chromosomes, all make copies of themselves in a process that is called DNA replication, because chromosomes are made up of a substance called DNA, and we'll learn a bit more about that. And then the cell divides into two cells in a process called mitosis. And each new cell ends up with the same number of chromosomes as the parent cell. Now this is all important information for your note-taking. And lastly, well, it's a pretty complicated process, this, making all the copies of all these chromosomes. So what happens when it goes wrong? Well, sometimes the cell division process, the cells start to divide abnormally. And when that happens, that is when you get cancer cells being produced. They might be growing really, really quickly, or there's something else that's gone wrong in that mitosis process. And that is how cancer happens. Now, what you should do now, or what you can do, is go back and play over the video and stop at important points and make sure that you've got these important points in your notes. And the sort of things that you need to have there would be, why is cell division important? And then explaining about the process of mitosis. So you would have in your notes a heading that says mitosis, and you would just talk briefly about that mitosis. You can always draw the cell diagrams that are out in the slides that are here. And you should make a note in your notes as well about what happens when it goes wrong.